And I have a quote here in front of me I just pulled out. It's from the State of the World Forum. That's the organization that Mikhail Gorbachev founded, and they've been having they had annual meetings for a number of years, and now they're planning a big one on November 12th to the 14th of this year. And I just want to share with you what the State of the World Forum says on their website. It ties in with all this. They say the election of Barack Obama ushers in a new era in human affairs. We can now deal with issues long ignored and suppressed and implement policies and priorities that can deal with the critical challenges confronting the world, the most urgent and acute of which are the recent global financial meltdown and dealing with the escalating effects of global warming. The Obama presidency and the next phase of world history ultimately will be defined by our collective response to global warming. They go on to say what will be unique and innovative about the 2009 State of the World Forum is that it will employ an integral framework to identify those initiatives that President Obama and the international community can initiate to establish an effective and globally geostrategic response to climate change, end quote. So, again, it's all about using the economic crisis and climate change to make the arguments, to make the case for global government. And obviously they see Obama as being very much in their camp. I went on to mention, and I just had this in our newsletter, I said there will be a heavy emphasis on spirituality at this meeting as well.
Now, which meeting?
Past State of the World Forums have included an unmistakable spiritual side based on New Age ideals. For 2009, this spiritual component is readily visible, starting with the fact that, get this, that Wisdom University, a school of esoteric philosophy, is heavily involved in the entire process. Mikhail Gorbachev's good friend, Jim Garrison, who is on his board, is a prominent member of Wisdom University. Also, many of the speakers are openly involved in occultism and the New Age movement, such as Gene Houston and Carolyn Myss, the author of Sacred Contact. So there's a very strong spiritual tie-in here, spiritual as in occultism, mysticism, at these meetings that Gorbachev has put together. And so you see Gorbachev holding the State of the World Forum meetings. You have Tony Blair with his Interfaith Foundation, as I call it. You've got Bill Clinton with the Clinton Global Initiative. You've got a lot of the same people involved in all three of these, pushing this globalization agenda, using the climate change issue and the current economic crisis, also the call for world peace and change in the Middle East, calling on Israel to give up certain things. It's all the same, just different vehicles to accomplish the same purpose. And so in the next 3 months, we're going to see a lot of meetings, and that is going to set the stage for things to happen between 2010 and 2012. So 2009 has been, for at least the last 6 or 7 months, a huge year in setting the stage, but it's going to be 2010 to 2012 where they actually want to implement some of these things. And one other thing I want to mention real quickly, if I may, Jan, there's going to be another meeting in November. This has got no media coverage at all that I'm aware of thus far, and it's going to be a joint Interparliamentary Union/United Nations meeting. And they're going to be discussing ways of establishing a global parliament through the UN. They've had meetings in the past, but they feel now's their opportunity to really throw this out there and push it forward. And so, again, this is a huge step toward global government, the fact that they're feeling comfortable with going public at this time. All these meetings being planned for November and December and then carrying on into next year.
All right. Now, what you've shared in the last 50 minutes is troubling. There are listeners that are sitting there listening saying, is there anything that I, as a solid conservative citizen or Christian citizen of the United States, what can I do when it would appear, based on what I've read and what you're talking about as well, all the forces of evil are lining up. They're all lining up to create this one world system much, much sooner than most people have any clue. What can the average person do?
Well, there are two things. There's the political side of things, and there's the spiritual side of things. And my personal view, and some people might get upset with me for saying this, but I believe that we can take all the political stand we want, and God's not going to bless it unless America repents. We have got to come, and as Christians as well, where we are more submissive to the ways of the Lord and committed to walking with Him on a daily basis. And I believe if our nation truly repented And if there was a large minority, at least, of people who got serious about the Lord in a way that we never have before, maybe the Lord would give us some more time. Maybe then some of our political actions would be effective. But right now, and I do believe we should continue to take a political stand as well. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, if that's all we're doing, because so many Christians I know, it's 90% politics, 10% spiritual, and they don't realize that religion drives politics, even on the on the globalization front. These people who are trying to take the United States into world government, a lot of them are strongly motivated by religious views. Ultimately, it is all about religion, and the Bible makes that clear in Revelation 13 and 14 when you see where all of this is going. Satan wants to gain the worship of mankind, and he's trying to do that through a global system that can enforce this type of worship. So once you understand that and you see the importance of religion and all this, we have got to make sure we're on the right side, that we are walking with the Lord, that we are submissive to Him. And then along with that, take whatever stand we can politically. There are some solid congressmen left. I'd say about 40 to 50 of them. We need to get behind them, back them in whatever way we can as they are taking a stand in Congress, and not leave them alone with the media railing against them daily, trying to make them look like fools for taking the stand that they're taking. But there are some good people out there. One way that you can identify them is look at who the media is hammering on.
Yes.
And I realize there are some crooks that rightly so are being hammered on by the media. But generally speaking, if the major networks come against you, it's probably because you're not on board as a full-fledged globalist. If you look at the treatment that people like Ron Paul, Sarah Palin, others have got, and I'm not saying these people are perfect by any stretch, but they have been solidly opposed to globalization over the past number of years. And the media has absolutely shredded them, and they will continue to do so. So it's hard for our political leaders who are wanting to take a stand because they feel alone when they go on a major network and you feel that kind of heat, and sometimes you feel like nobody's standing with you. We have got to get behind those people and stand behind them and pray for them and let them know that we are behind them.
I'm quickly running out of time. Folks, you can learn a whole lot more. We have done a little bit of a surface job here, a whole lot more at Understanding the Times 09, October 9th, 10th, and that is at Grace Church, Eden Prairie. Friday night, all day Saturday, along with Gary Kaw, will be Eric Barger on deception discernment issues, Dr. Ron Rhodes covering eschatology or Bible prophecy. I'll be there with some of my, I don't know what, wit and wisdom, I hope. But we have a whole weekend. There's no cost. Just show up Friday night and Saturday. So please mark your calendars and put it down on your memo board to turn out for that particular conference. Gary, we're looking forward to seeing you. I got music in my ears, which means we're going to be cut off quickly.
Thank you, Jan, for the opportunity. I look forward to seeing you there as well, and to everyone else.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
And that's GaryKah.org, K-A-H. Remember, this program goes up on my website, Olive Tree Views, late Sunday now. The complete 2 hours goes up on my website late Sunday, also available for podcasters. We're coming back, top of the hour, changing topics.
If Jan Markell's radio outreach has helped you understand the times, would you consider a tax-deductible donation to Olive Tree Ministries? You can write to Box 1452, that's Box 1452.